this is the CEO show, and we're doing something different because usually anytime you get in a room with 19, he takes over the show and it becomes a 19 something show. But today he's gonna restrain and he's gonna let me conduct my show.
Hey, that's amazing. That's almost a compliment for Dame to even say that about you.
Well, the compliment is that we sit and have conversations. I don't like too many people, pause, especially dudes. They waste the time with me unless they're doing something.
I agree with that, Paul.
A dude without a dream, pause, is dangerous because they just wants to rob you of yours. You know what I mean? So, the CEO show, the way I like to approach things, I want to ask you a question today. You've been distributing a lot of knowledge, right? And you seem to keep new clothes on and new jewelry every time I see you, and things like that. I'd like you, because this is the CEO show, I want you to explain your business model.
That's a good question. So our central thing is media, right? Media is where I've invested most of my money in, especially this year, right?
What does media, when you say media?
When I'm talking about media, I'm talking about content.
So
right?
You make
content is where we get the eyeballs, right? So
do you monetize the content?
We monetize the content and we put our own products on the content. So we have the Nootropics brand, right? Gold Water, which is the family brand. So my whole family work for that brand. Moms, pops, sisters run it. My younger twin brothers, they do the packaging, shipping, the whole nine out in Atlanta. So when you watch High Level Conversations, you're going to see a Gold Water commercial on there, right?
So let me do it like this then. So when I do a business, I make an octopus, right? So there'll be the head, pause, and then there's 8 legs, 8 verticals.
Yeah.
So the media would be, you're the
So
brand.
The head will really be 19 Keys the brand.
19 Keys the brand,
Yeah,
and then there's the verticals.
So for me, like, media will be like the heart of it. You know what I'm saying?
And that's what makes it to where you can invest in the other businesses?
Well, I started the other businesses first, but 19 Keys as a brand is as a media brand really as well. But I consider it like high level media when I really start doing high level conversations to say I had a media business.
And media meaning?
Media having a show.
Or
shows rather.
So
and then like doing production, and then even on top of that we can do media consultation. So we actually consult other people, teach them how to do theirs as well.
And from the content, you monetize the content through the ads?
We monetize the content directly by putting on our own ads and running ads from other different people as well. So like corporations that want to pay us to be on there.
Okay. And then you have the ancillary things, which are?
Yeah, so we got the products, which is the Nootropics. Then we got the crowns. So I design the crowns myself, which is the clothing, right? Then we got education. So anytime we do any courses, curriculums, books, right? And then of course we have touring. So when I do in person and I'm selling out the tours, then we got merch being sold at those particular places.
Well, let's talk about
and all
touring.
That's reinvested in.
Let's talk about touring for a second. So we got to the media, the ads that run. So for me, there's 2 ways to tour. Either somebody books you and you get paid a fee, or you actually promote it yourself, and then you just sell tickets, sort of like what you and I did in Oakland when it was our show, but it turned into your show at your hometown. But you still owe me a show.
It was definitely our show, but yeah, it was show.
You did
you had some breakout moments.
I had moments, but just moments. You had
Hip
like
500, never forget
40
that
minutes. You did a 40-minute monologue. But anyway, and
Tito
had all his friends in the front, and they were the only ones that could ask questions.
No, they wasn't the only ones.
Like, yo,
they had VIP
all the questions
seats.
were advertised. Like, I do this. I was like, yo, can I ask one of my friends a question? God damn.
All of the Oakland guys came out to come see Dame and 19
we had a good
Keys,
time.
Man.
I was impressed. But the point is, we threw that. You know, we got with Earn Your Leisure. They were like the promoter.
Yeah.
And then we booked it, and we had to go put the seats in there.
Yeah.
I had to find the spot. You remember? Because you couldn't find a spot in Oakland. You were like, I can't find a spot. So I was like, let me send you a spot. So it was a spot, you know.
I say, you had to do some work. You know what I'm saying? Because I was bring the people.
So I didn't. Yeah, it's Oakland. You should.
Yeah. We got the security. We got the people. We made everything fly for you. We had nobody charged us for nothing. Got Mr. Fab up there emceeing for us.
What you mean nobody charged us for nothing?
I'm talking about the people that actually came. You feel me? And the homies helped promote it because they from the Bay, so it was all love.
It was all love. So my point was we did that on our own.
Yeah. 100%.
So is your business model throwing the Do you promote them yourself? Or
Yeah, we did all of the promotion. So we had work with CIA, but the only thing they had was relationships with the venues, right?
What
And
did you have
you
to?
know,
What did you have to break them off for that, Paul?
I think it was like, what was it? 20? 20,
20%
20%.
because they booked because they got you the show that they yearly.
Yeah, but we
You
would
should have
never
called
do
me.
that again
Yeah,
though.
I know you should have called me.
That was a first time play. You
Well,
feel me?
I
But
was
I mean, I'm glad though because that was a learning experience. You
I
feel me? And a learning curve with that whole thing. But everything else we ran ourselves.
well I was impressed with that because you took the show on the road, and that's what I advise everyone to do, and not many people will do that unless they get booked.
Hmm.
So the fact that I know that's an investment, and sometimes you have
Take all the risk.
you take all the risk, and sometimes it works out, and a lot of times you just break even. Sometimes you don't make no bread, but you still get the benefit of going in there and talking to people, and next time you come back around, it's like
And you meet your core
well,
audience. I think
let
that's
me
the
tell you
love
what,
for me.
even in the art of music, usually when you put out a record, you go on what's called a promo tour, and you actually pay to go and get in front of like 10 people at first, and everyone squeezes up in a van. So I was looking at it, whether you knew it or not, your instincts were leading you completely right, but I felt like y'all were doing it in luxury, in a very big way. So of course, when y'all go back around, because you don't look at what something is going to do the first time. First time's always, for me, a learning experience. I'm not even going to call it a loss. It's always a learning experience. But when I come back around, like I just did what I call a promo tour, but the company made money. But when I went in there, I'm like, it wasn't the kind of money I would want to make. I'm not trying to go no place and not make
For
6, 7
sure.
digits.
I think the way we do it now would be completely different.
It
Because
has to
even
be.
even operating with theaters, I think is a losing model a lot of times because you get them way too much because they got their unions. So you got to pay every single person to do everything. And you can't bring in your own people and pay them at your rate. You have to use their people. And so you
how
paying
many
them for no reason.
and there was an infrastructure that helped. How many people do you have in your infrastructure that also have to get paid because nobody
Yeah.
works for
Well, I
free?
brought my whole family on tour.
But even still, like there were people that were booking it, people that were
Yeah.
because there's a lot of moving parts.
We had
Hotel,
PR agents, of course. Amechi, shout out to Amechi. Without him, there was no tour.
right.
You know what I'm saying? So he jumped into a role that he previously didn't have experience and handled everything. So it's like if you go do something, you got to have a really good team as well. And everybody, like we grew up. My family grew up FY soldiers, so like we know how to kind of get militant and take some orders and like run a campaign. And for me, like bringing my brothers and having my pops there, moms came on tour, the family was there. That was the thought process. Like this ain't nothing but another campaign. We follow the orders, we
And it was
run the
fun.
system, and we gonna make it happen.
And it was fun.
It was fun. I wouldn't have done it back to back because I'm the only person
Tired.
that done it like that in this space to where he had back to back shows. So
And
we in New
you were doing a lot
York,
of
then
shows.
Boston, Dallas, then Houston. Like literally the other night, nobody had done that before. You know what I mean? Like speaking information and things of that nature. Usually it's like you got one show, then 2 weeks later or a month later, you got another show. We did it rock star style. Like, nope, we booked out. We here. So the goal was to like set precedents and show like, nah, it's a new era now. It ain't just rappers that can do that or entertainers. Like if you got real influence and the people really rock with you, we giving you alternatives for your Friday night or your Saturday night or your Sunday night.
People from other cultures have been doing that. It's just different because they're teaching their way in a different language. It's just our algorithm used to be so negative that people would come out to see violence and see us hurting each other. And what we've been able to do is create an algorithm where people actually want to evolve. But the point I wanted to make was for anyone that's dreaming about having a brand and being famous and making money off of it, it doesn't just happen from being on the internet or being on social media. You have to take it upon yourself to get on the road and promote your stuff.
It take hella
And a
work.
lot of people don't know about and understand how important that aspect of the game is. So your instincts are completely right. And everything you're doing is impressive because you just kind of got in the game, and you got to just really look at what it will look like 10 years or 5 years down the line. And every time you go through, because when you go and do an activation, because I look at them as activations. when a stock makes an announcement, the stock goes up. Every time you do an activation, your stock goes up, no matter what. Activations means you're active, and you don't wait for somebody to book you. So sitting around and waiting for someone to book you and thinking that you're entitled to just be able to at first show up, get your hotel, your travel, and just get paid, that's not going to happen unless,
And see,
it doesn't really happen unless there's a bit of compromise there and you're doing something you don't want to do.
but see, seeing somebody like you speak truth to power, and I remember just kind of like thinking, when I first got in, I knew I wasn't about to be some corporate sponsored. You know what I mean? That because I want to say what I want to say, and I got to do it my way. You know what I'm saying? So I automatically knew I had to find an original, creative way to do it. You feel me? I feel like you can do anything if you got enough creativity and work ethic to get it done. Me, I got that. I know how to think. So I just take a look at the raw resources and figure out how I want to use them. Most people don't know how to do shit because they look at the direct path you got to go through for gatekeepers and be like, man, I can't go through this way. I'm frustrated. And me, I say, no, how about I just create my own gate? There's attention. What's the business model? Entertainer takes attention. The people like it. Then they buy a ticket. They say, I'll show up. Why can't I do the same thing if the people like the content that I have and we got a movement?
Well, the way I'm looking at it is you are looking at school as actually doing it. That's the only way to learn, is to actually do it.
Yeah, this shit a trade.
It's a trade. So, waiting for someone to teach you, not many people can give you the game because they don't know the game. And successful people sometimes are too busy to talk. So sometimes you got to go ahead and do it yourself. But what I want people to understand when they hear us talk is, because I have been on the road as well, not as laborious as you, because I've been building a television network and also other verticals, but also it's not, it really wasn't my main business model. But, I've been on the road. We went to at least 20, 30 spots. And each one of them I looked at as, number one, I'm not going to spend any money to make myself comfortable to lose money. I'm not going to lose money. So it has to be cost effective. And the thing about starting a new business is it's humbling because you have to start from scratch with the business, with the expenses of a new business, all the things that come, because like if you're used to having $400,000 worth of bills because you're making $4 million a year with something, and then you start another company and get you a whole nother $400,000 a month, and you're not making that $4 million, and it's slow, because a lot of times people base their bills on their best year, and that's the worst thing you could do. Don't ever base your bills on your best year. You base your bills on your worst year. But when I start a new company, it's like the only one luxury I'm not going to do is I'm not riding coach. But if I had a publicly traded company, or I would have to ride coach, because that's what's in the best interest of the company, not myself. But I just find that because I do so many jobs in administrative and marketing, I have to rest. So that's the only reason why I have to be comfort in those moments, because my body pores will start to hurt and all that other shit. But either way.
Hey, let me ask you something, not to cut your wisdom, but I think that is a key, because you do be on the road, you know what I mean? You got your gray whiskers, so, you a little old now.
I could shave it a diet.
Yes, sir. But, I mean, it's a compliment to what I'm about to say, though. You got the energy of a young man.
Like a little jazz.
You got the
intellectual bully is funny. You like it's like.
Nah, let me tell you, man. Age is achievement, growth, and experience, man. So you got a lot of that. You feel me?
Can I tell you something? I almost unfollowed you the other day.
Oh, okay.
No more workout videos with
the
shirt
man,
off.
you can't get jealous, man.
I don't want to see this.
Man, that's called, you asked me my business model, man. How they know I'm doing the gold water hitting the sports moss, you feel me?
We have to see I don't want to see Tarzan or, I don't want to see all that. You got dudes watching. I'm like, yo. I was like, one more time. I was like, I'm like, he on there like, you like working out, shirt off. I'm like, yo, come on, man. But
I
anyway,
ain't
go
gonna
ahead.
lie,
What
it
you were
might get
saying?
worse though.
Stop.
No, but you stay energized throughout your whole movement. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For you know, like for me seeing my pops is always on the move. You know what I mean? He refused to, you know, allow himself to get old and stop moving. He always told me, you understand me, time is a measurement of motion. Run out of moves, you feel me, you run out of life. That's when you die. So I always see you in motion. So as you get older, how do you maintain that health regimen to like keep your baseline high to where you can continue to be in motion in accordance to your dreams?
Well, number one, Raquel keeps me really healthy because also I'm diabetic.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, I'm always dreaming. So the dream is what keeps you energized. And because I've won big very young, and like I've sold 3 companies before I was 35,
Mm.
it's like I really believe that I could do anything. So, instead of dreaming about a clothing line, I wanted to dream about something that had an exit strategy that went with billions, and that's a television network. And I wanted to have a conglomerate. So it was important for me to have everything new when I'm 52. New sneakers, new clothing line,
Mm.
new shades, new music, new television network. I had to be playing a bigger game. So for me, it was like I need to create a conglomerate for my family, not someone else's. And it's too easy to do it with someone else's bread, but it's not because you have to compromise too much.
Yeah.
And as you see through the years, and no disrespect to nobody, but it's a lot of weird shit on the other side in that 1%.
Yeah.
And I chose not to hang out around none of the weird
Well,
shit.
shit, you've been telling us about it for a long
A long,
time.
right? I'd be like, yo, it's not all right. This niggas is really weird over here. Like, it's
Yeah.
really crazy. And you would think
I
that it's
imagine
a
that's why
dream,
you
but
gotta
it's a
say
nightmare.
pause so much. That
Well,
whole
I made the
side is
work.
pause.
I mean, it's pause, but also it's like things that should make you happy make you unhappy. Being on top of the world but feeling you're on the bottom of the world, it just doesn't add up to me,
Mm-hmm.
and that just comes with compromise. So it's like you may appear to have done exactly what you wanted to do because people are celebrating you, and other people from other cultures are celebrating you. And my thing is, if another culture is celebrating you too much, then you're doing too much for that culture and not enough for your own.
Mm.
So those that are celebrated by those that aren't us, I'm like, they must be doing a lot for them, not us.
Mm.
And that's why sometimes I'm not celebrated by them, but I'm usually celebrated by us.
Mm.
And
I rock with that.
I don't look at my success based on if they celebrate me. A lot of
Yeah.
people look at their success based on if another culture celebrates them or gives them a certain kind of award or whatever. I just feel like they've robbed us of a lot of culture and made us think we need them to sell our culture back to our culture. Like we got to go
Mm-hmm.
through them. I got to sell you. I had to give it to you to Paul sell it to my friend. It don't make no sense.
Nah.
And I know the robbery is becoming because of lack of knowledge. It's because people don't know what's going to happen in the future till it's too late, till it's the past.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's the reason why it's important for us, and that's why I've always been an advocate of this. Whatever y'all doing, Earn Your Leisure, Billy Carson, anyone that is making money off of evolving us
Mm.
and making us better, we have to link up, stick together, be completely transparent,
Mm-hmm.
and we just need to focus on our superpowers and don't be embarrassed about our weaknesses and click up.
Mm.
And that's what generals do.
That's part of the code right there. Sharing information. You know what I'm saying? Like,
It's intel.
and yeah, intel. Because I really look at it as a war. You feel me? I just think that we lazy in a lot of fronts and our willingness to really go all the way to win.
It's the pattern of losing. If all you see on television and all you hear about is us getting abused and us losing and never winning, you don't visualize anything but the loss.
Mm-hmm.
Most people don't dream. They don't think they could win because no one around them has. They don't see it. So that's why the visuals of us winning, and that's why it was important for me to start my own television network so I could start showing visuals of us winning and not winning in entertainment, but winning in different businesses and things that there haven't been visuals of us doing. The only visual we have of us winning is drug dealing or basketball or sports playing or entertainment, which is a distraction. And the only way that we're supposed to be able to break into a fucking social class is to make another culture entertained. I'm not entertainment. I'm
So
culture.
media then.
And Well, media is to put patterns in people's faces.
But
So
that's what I'm about to ask you. Like, all
yeah,
right, so we see what's going on with Revolt, and Keenan can chime in too. You feel me? The for me, you know, black media is important. Just us controlling that, having be that programming mechanism, our narratives, news, because it controls the way we feel and the way we perceive stuff. So it's like for the future of like, let's say, you know, not having that revolt apparatus if things don't work out for them over there,
I
that leaves
understand
a
what you
huge
mean.
gap.
What you mean?
So, you know, with everything that happened with Diddy, let's say advertisers pull out and, you know, that thing that Revolt is for the culture disappears. That leaves a gap for somebody to fill. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the opportunity right now to be able to take over that because, you know, BET get black dollars, but it's black, not black owned,
Yeah.
right?
Well, they can't get all this. What happens is there's a lot of black dollars that are left on the table because there's no black-owned companies. So yeah, as it relates to, because linear television is one thing and digital television is another, and the way ads are going are two different things.
Say
But
linear television.
linear is like cable TV,
Okay.
and digital is the shit you watch on your phone, shit like that. So linear ads are different than digital ads. You know, you have to do upfronts, and you have to, you know, get your money whether people watch or not. The thing about digital is you only get your money based on actual performance. It's two different things. But it's still a lot of money in linear. And what happened with Puff for me, because there was this initiative about 10 years ago that they had to have a black-owned, Comcast wanted black-owned networks. And I was talking to them, but they told me I had to show them $100 million because Magic and Oprah had took so many losses. So I'm like, if I got to go get 100, how are you going to think that's black? I'm not going to be able to get 100 million of black money. So I was like, I'm going to go and I'm going to make $100 million worth of content, and then then I'll go back. But Comcast is nothing but distribution. But what happens when you get distributed, you get paid as an affiliate kind of thing. So off of a cable, off your cable bill, $100, like $4 of that might go to ESPN, and $2, you know, whatever. I don't know what Puff and them got, but let's say it was $1 or two. Regardless if he brings market share to the table, they still got to break that down. So what was happening is when I was coming back around, they were going, we gave Puff this money, Oprah this money, Magic, and Byron Allen suing everybody. So we're not doing anything. And I'm like, for the black channels right now because we don't want to get caught. And literally, Spectrum told me, what's the difference between you, Puff, and Oprah? And I said, the only thing that's similar is our skin. But because it's a black
Right.
owned company doesn't mean it's only for black people. Just because I'm black doesn't mean only black people can digest what I'm doing or be
Only we got
inspired
that
by me.
issue. Like we
Well,
can't
it's
sell to
it's
other coaches,
well
but every other
they
culture
put us
uses us as their greatest customer.
they put us in a box, and there's always black delegated money. But like even in music, is there like white music? There's actually like an A&R black music, or there's a BET owned by a white company, a black entertainment. Have you ever heard of white entertainment television?
It's never considered American. You
So
know what I'm saying?
that's the reason. Pardon me.
Hip hop is
That
American
that
music.
that's the reason why I call it America New, the network, because it's a new America, the America that has to behoove us. And it's really, really advantageous to be black because the government has so much guilt that damn near 15 and 20% of everything, whether it's manufacturing or real estate at retail, goes to black people. But how many black people do you know own a factory? And they don't teach us to own factories. So Keenan and I are doing a lot of things that people wouldn't probably understand right now, but it's about economic growth and making sure that towns are economically stimulated, creating jobs, you know, things to that nature. But Keenan also is good at a lot of other things as well. He's a smart guy.
Look, Keenan Beasley, my career, one, I'm a West Point grad, so I'm a proud West Point grad, #1 school in the world. But outside of that, I spent my career all in advertising. So I ran brands like Tide, Gillette, launched Tide Pods, so multi-billion-dollar brands globally, sold 2 companies, and now really have a focus on where I've aligned with these brothers on is how do we rebuild and reimagine the middle class? Right. At the end of the day, that's probably the biggest threat to society. And what America understands is we're a consumption economy. When you're a consumption economy and your middle class is shrinking, well, now you have a threat to national security, especially when you look at the middle class globally is growing. So what I've aligned with these brothers on is looking at, well, what are the quadrants that actually start to create change, right? Dame is a visionary and he understands the role of economic development and redefining cities, right? Keys is a leader in communication, but
And a
education.
workout specialist, pause out.
And the workouts now, his push-up game is right, pause. But you know, when you start to look at that, what control and influence looks like is understanding how economies are established, grow, and evolve over time. And I think what we're doing collectively is changing narratives with media, right? Because the best export of America is still Black culture.
Mm-hmm.
So
Best.
But the problem is,
how do we get paid off that?
the problem is we're not the distributor of
Correct.
Black culture.
Correct.
So
Which
we
is
have
why
to
we
get-
don't get paid.
And that's why we don't get paid. So this is the reason why in these type of environments, and we have cameras, instead of talking about bubblegum shit, we want to
real.
talk about what the future should look like and how you should prepare yourself.
it.
And the conversations that I have when I'm off camera are like the ones that I have when I'm on camera. I want to know about evolution. We want to talk about making things better. If we're going to make money, we want to make money off helping people, creating jobs, real estate, understanding tax credits, understanding ARPA funds, understanding all these type of things and the opportunities that present themselves, understanding that, again, what is it, 15% of all manufacturing has to be done by a Black manufacturer. We have to start
Hitting them
understanding
quotas.
how much money, what American wealth comes from government contracts. It comes from the way they're killing us with the media and the distribution,
Recession
because
proof.
we're never taught how to be the boss. But only a boss could teach you how to be a boss. So you got to go be a boss first, then start teaching it. So in order for me to teach anyone anything, I got to go do it, pause, get banked up, lose, win, and then I could go and tell you what I did wrong and what I could do right.
So look, let's answer the question there, right? What's going on with Black media? Here's the reality. Major advertisers, which I once was, right? So when I was running Tide, I had a $400 million budget. So you got to think, every year I'm tasked with spending $400 million on advertising. 15 to 20% I wanted to spend with Black-owned media. Here was the problem: there wasn't enough inventory.
And inventory's like almost offensive that you can't even put an ad on it when you get it.
And so what's crazy that's happening right now is the industry is saying, okay, well now let's make it 5%. 5% of all advertising dollars we want to go to Black-owned platforms. Where are they? Name them. So what's going on with Diddy and Revolt, obviously that's a big shakeup because they had a big piece of that. Byron Allen has a big piece of that. Black-owned universal reach. That's the game he was going. That's why he bought Weather Channel. It's a lot of eyeballs. So what you're starting to see is folks like Dame, Keys, myself,
And
85 South.
And Byron understands the CPMs.
Yeah, look,
He understands the ad stat. He understands that game as well.
Here's the thing. In
That
order
Weather
to get
Channel
paid,
made a lot
you
of
gotta
money from the
understand
CPMs.
technology. You got to understand the platform and how the game is paid.
You got to know the
Here's what's
technology.
going on right now is Black people especially, we are so used to creating content and giving it away. And
No,
we
we're
give it
used to
away on
getting-
channels where we don't get paid.
Well, we're used to being in a situation where
That's all we do is create magic and give
we're
it
used
away.
to being in a situation where we know it's wrong, but we don't have a choice because we're so much on like the back foot. Pause. We're in such a place of desperation that any bit of oxygen will give away our freedom. But all these years, we always knew we were getting robbed. We just accepted it. But because we had no
because
alternatives.
we knew how to create the magic, but not, understand the
It
science.
was just part of the game. It was like it was like we were taught to think we were meant to need them to do things.
But that's
Yeah,
that whole thing of being
the-
talented but not being educated.
The reason why
Also being siloed.
the
Yeah.
reason
Separate.
why Keenan is saying that you're an important part of the movement is because you're a voice of evolution. Even if it triggers people, we still need that type of person empowered that's going to deliver the message correctly that can also garner a crowd. Because you went out and you did the work. You went on tour, built your audience, and now you're monetizing it, and it's all off good stuff. And I'm sure for you, the evolution and what you want your life to look like in 10 years means that you have to become a master in all the verticals that you want to do in 10 years. So that's what comes with becoming a brand, is also having to understand damn near 10 different businesses, from the cash register to the production to the monitor, because all these become different businesses. An octopus has 8 legs, but it also has 8 brains for each leg. And if you can't afford to hire somebody that's a specialist in each one of those, then you have to figure out how to do it yourself till you can hire somebody. So what happens is, like on the block, if I, caught a loss, shit, and I used to hit somebody, had a lookout, they not working. I'm gonna go get it, and I'm gonna go pitch that shit myself, take the chance, and once I flip, then I can start hiring people again. And every time I would pivot to a new drug, I had to do it the same way. Get on the block, give out samples. I had to be the lookout and collect the money. I just didn't carry a lot of work on me. But as soon as it got clicking, now I could pay you, but at least I know you can't rob me because I know the business. And everybody else that hustled outside had to respect me because they knew I respected the art of hustling, period. So another thing is, when you get into another vertical, whether it's the media, whether it's clothing, whether it's music, any of those things, you got to respect the art, because you got to look at it like, if like sometimes I'll see like a basketball player want to rap. It doesn't work out because a basketball player has to be a basketball player for his profession. A musician has to hit the road, and there's a lot of things you have to do to be a professional musician, so it won't work. But a musician will like kind of laugh a little because they're like, he thinks it's easy just because I make it look easy. But again, you doing your shows, you coming outside, pause, and selling out shows, someone might think that's easy. Someone might think that you just showed up, that you never put up a dollar to invest in your presence on the road in another market, because that's all they see is you on the stage. So a lot of people dream about, I want to be a professional in something, but they never dream about the work it takes to be a professional. But if you respect the art, then you'll understand the work it's going to take. You can't just pick up a guitar and play it. You got to rehearse every day. You can't just go in the gym and get a muscle because you did one crazy workout. That shit got to be 3 months at least.
Compound interest.
So that's for every single thing is an art. But the one art that we never know is digital, is media. We've never been in the position, and we're never in those rooms to learn it as they're learning it.
I think media is the most important one for me.
It is, because
that's why that's getting all my 2024 focus.
And that's how it gets. Well, when you say media, does it mean you're going to make scripted movies? Does it mean you're going to make scripted television?
Eventually, yeah.
So that's why I wanted to show y'all America New, because I got movies, docuseries, children's programming, scripted, and I got the podcast, or I call it a TV show if it's a visual because it's not auditory. You know what I mean? And I'm showcasing those that I feel are actually not talking about problems, but actually have the action on fixing them by teaching.
That's it.
Hand to hand, and not scared to actually talk to people. Because a lot of people say a lot of slick shit when they're behind a camera in their house, but they don't come outside. They don't talk to the people they teaching. And most of the stuff they teaching, they not doing. They getting money teaching about something they never fucking did.
Yeah. Yeah, at this point, I think you should only teach things you do. I think that was, because number one, you're going to teach it better. You know what I mean? Because it ain't even got to be rehearsed. You're pulling it from experience, right? And then you bottling the framework of your success and teaching that to somebody else and allowing them to be able to duplicate that same process.
Let me tell you how smart media is. Genius move. When someone can actually make people and inspire people to change their ways because they're doing it, and then trick you, and then you get caught up in it. Because when Snoop said he stopped smoking, you definitely made 100 announcements. I stopped smoking and all that, and then the next day he said it was a trick.
I had stopped smoking 10 years ago.
But
Mine was a joke.
But my point.
I was using it to sell a
Don't worry,
product
I
like him,
wasn't-
first of
I was
all.
messing with you.
Yeah.
So
But some people really thought I was smoking and I just quit because
Either way.
people don't know how to
My
think.
point is that's how powerful media is.
Yeah.
Because people actually started to stop smoking.
Uh-huh.
And I was talking about stopping smoking the day before he did
Yeah.
that. but I'm still smoking. But I remember I
But
was like, I'm not ready right now. You know,
that.
because
But
I ain't gonna
that's
lie, I was
why
like, because let me tell you,
he say
when
you're
I
an economy because you influence spending
let me tell
power.
you, because Snoop is my brother, right?
Yeah.
The last person that Rocky ever smoked with was Snoop Dogg,
Mm.
and the other girl he was with fainted in the car.
Yeah.
And I got that on tape too. It was hilarious. But I was saying if Snoop stopped talking, it was like there's two people that if they stop smoking, it might get. I mean, it's dangerous.
Yeah, that
Nelson,
messes up the whole industry.
Willie
And
Nelson,
Snoop.
and Snoop. So I
Yeah.
was like,
That's a
now
fact.
if Snoop is quitting, it might be
That's
time.
why if we federally legalize and these companies start making money, Snoop should get $1 billion. Because all he had to do is say, I'm done smoking weed, I don't rock with weed, and he gonna mess up stocks.
You're gonna take the whole industry down.
You know what I'm saying?
And
And
just
that's the influence though that we have. The thing that we don't figure out is infrastructure.
Yeah.
And this is where like
we don't talk.
honestly,
People don't
we're-
like to talk, bro.
they might got to give you your flowers, bro, because like you've been on the infrastructure game with folks for a long time, talking about it, and people don't listen. So I want to make sure folks is listening. This is how I connected with Dame. We've been talking about manufacturing. It's the most boring shit to talk about. We ain't talk about no music. We've been talking about manufacturing because of the jobs and what it does in the community. So if we're gonna talk about media and creating content, that's all.
We
got
gotta be the factories.
Yeah, are you the factory? Do you understand how the game is actually broken down?
That's
how to
the boss.
distribute the content? Do you understand how the ad revenue comes in? This is the game.
Do you
that
understand the
folks ain't
CPM?
listening from him. Like, listen to that game.
But see, every industry change once that gets exposed and democratized.
Once they lose and they're like, yo, I'm
Because-
broke and
but
y'all
that's,
rich.
That's how the tech folks make money. Because what are they disrupting? They're not disrupting content. They disrupting how the content is distributed.
Mm-hmm.
That's the tech. That's the platform. That's where you make the billions. But if you don't understand that, you can't even disrupt it.
Yeah.
So what we're doing is we get successful by playing a game that they created. We're doing content on their platforms. As great as Snoop's, stunt was, let's also break down the numbers. Go ahead and pull up what his post was. How many people engaged with it? What's Snoop's following? So what percentage of his audience did he actually reach?
Well,
He didn't control how much is reached.
But it also went viral.
No, it went viral, which was also boosted.
You thought
Because-
you thought they bought some?
100%.
Oh, really?
100%. A lot of stuff is bought.
Honestly,
what
every
people
time
don't
I've
realize.
never ever bought no viral moment. I've been going viral.
Well, yeah, because
Okay,
but
a lot
but
of people are feeding things.
the
to walls.
message
It's a
was
pay-to-play model.
already had the quality, and what virality is really about the broadcast channel that it comes from, and then it's like high level conversations. If we have if this conversation is gold, but if it's put on the wrong platform, it ain't going viral.
That's why it's on the CEO
If you
show.
put on the right one, the CEO show, now it's out there, right? Dame has been a viral character and person and personality just off the organics for a long time. And depending on whose platform he on, that's gonna go. If you put it on a smaller platform, it may get pushed out of reach. People talk about it, comment. Now it's in all these different places. You put it on a bigger platform, and this is how I've always thought about content. My whole thing is like, I'll be having conversations in private. I'm like, but if this was on a platform and if the resources behind it, this is to the world.
Let's talk
and I
about this.
built off that model.
What's the biggest media companies in the world?
Disney
With Viacom,
or Paramount.
Paramount, Disney,
Facebook.
Okay, yeah. Social
Okay.
media,
Twitter.
yeah.
How much content do they create?
None.
Well,
Y'all-
some,
everybody
well,
else, everybody who listening, y'all creating the content for these
Well.
companies. That's straight infrastructure. So again, what's the value of an actual user, a viewer? Facebook went public off $10 a view.
Yeah, but the reason why. is
$10.
But it's the reason why is
How
because
many
of the,
followers you got?
about $1 million plus.
Multiply that by 10. You got that money?
Not yet.
See, that's where we starting to change it. So it's like, don't just create the content, put it on your own shit. That's a Dame play.
But you got to really promote it.
You gotta
get the
really
ad,
know.
You got to add tech.
You gotta use it. You
That
gotta
shit
study.
It's not cheap.
That's what we on. That's new media.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the new wave right
that's
now.
the
Don't just
from-
be giving your shit out to people, man. Create it on your own stuff. Get your own money. Don't let them take 90% of the revenue.
And-
At 100%, you decide what you want to pay
And also think about this, right? Every time you sign that terms of whatever to get on YouTube and all that,
Yeah.
that's a contract that
Yeah.
you didn't have a lawyer go see. And children do that. You understand what I'm saying? So
no
you're now signing everything away without even a question. And it's normal. And that's not legal. So I've actually spoke to my friends at Congress and said, they were like, wow, I didn't think about it like that. We might have to have a hearing. I think we need to have one. I think the lawmakers and the teachers, the principals, all need to be educated about these things and the laws that come with them. Every time there's a new business, it's the government's responsibility to like have a business person to just learn the business.
Facts.
Yeah, I
To
mean,
me,
essentially, when you
because
think
there's too
about
many new business. Like, how are you going to monetize space travel?
when you think about
What laws
social
are they doing?
media,
What they going to do on Mars? Because we
it's
going there.
is when you think about social media, it's essentially everybody working for a company. You know, just like any company, when they decide that they want to boycott because they want higher wages, creators have to go through that same thing. The problem is that it's like the NBA. You got some people who may get a $300 million contract,
Yep.
but that's not everybody.
No,
And then
no.
some players, get a couple 100,000. But
No, no,
people
no.
look at the people that get the millions as if that's the standard, but that's not the standard. The standard is the minimum. And most people get the minimum.
But what it is people are getting paid in dopamine. So they're getting paid in
Yeah.
fame.
Say that. Say that again.
So what happens?
Come on.
So the reason why people continue is
Fame
because
is
they're
the
like,
drug.
I'm not going to get the fame no more.
I mean,
So you'd be like, honestly, you'll be the only
to the
reason-
credit, I do appreciate
But wait,
the
real quick.
author of the platforms because otherwise those opportunities wouldn't be there.
Well,
But the reality of it
let me
is
just land the plane.
I want my
real quick.
reparations.
Pause. What I'm saying is, the reason why we use YouTube now is because we want the traffic. The reason why we on Apple is because of the traffic.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why is because we're like, yo, we won't be seen. But we have to figure out how to leverage, go out and promote, and bring our audience to us. Because 9 times out of 10, yeah, you're getting some of the traffic. But what we were talking about was like, it's called buying inventory. You just buy people based on their behavior patterns and you run your ads in front of them. So that's the game that they play. They just buy people based on their behavior patterns. And that's what the data is that we don't get the benefit of. We don't get the benefit of the behavior patterns of all the people that are actually looking at what we're doing. So if I got 1 million people, if I know the behavior patterns of 1 million people, I know exactly
You know
what
what
to
to
sell
sell
them,
'em.
or I know to sell the behavior patterns to a company that makes it. And that's what the game is. It's the selling of behavior patterns.
What you just said about teaching, I'm a teacher in South Central. You know what I'm saying? You walk up to a student, you say, what do you want to be when you grow up? Bro, we're not teaching the teachers about the future, how to teach the future. You're just servicing the students. The jobs jobs aren't even invented yet.
That's what
Well, the future teacher is gonna be
when I go in,
managing students,
when I
not
go
really
in. Well,
teaching
look,
them.
let me tell you the solution. Part of the OSG, and what I do is I get on a Zoom with all these principals and I teach them the new shit. And then I go into the schools because we wrote a book about dreaming, but it also brings your cognitive skills up, and it teaches you about space. The next one teaches you about the earth. The sea. Dusko goes to sea, and we actually get to go in there and teach the kids how to dream. And what I tell the kids is, with all the teachers there, I say, if no one around you that's taking care of you has asked you what your dreams are, then they are not dreaming. So and I make everybody scream, right? Like dream team, dream team. Then I make every adult scream dream team because you have to lead by example that you have to dream. If you're not dreaming, you can't teach kids how to dream. You gotta be, and a lot of times we're not taught how to dream, we're told what to dream. So we're told to dream to be in survival mode. We're told to dream to be an athlete, but not what happens after 30 as an athlete. And that's even provided for you that distraction is provided for you in the educational system where you play basketball at a varsity level, but they don't teach you any skill that happens after until you get to the NFL. And that's lotto. Period. So you have to make sure our educators, our lawmakers are the smartest in the room because those are the ones that protect us. Those are the ones that are teaching our future. So that's why I've taken it to me, not to make it about me, but that's why I talk to Congress, like I say. That's why I talk to the principals, because those are the most important people. Our lawmakers, because if they don't know nothing is legal in America unless it's in law. Your opinion means nothing. Even if, like, they don't teach you how to have money so that when you have money, you don't know you got to pay taxes and now you jammed up and you got to go to jail. So it's a trap. I know. After I made a bunch of millions and spent it, they sent me a bill for taxes. And I'm like, yo, I used to be a drug dealer. You think I'm giving 50% after I already spent it? I got to pay bills. I ain't got it. And then I paid somebody to do it, Barry Clawberg, and he didn't pay my motherfucking taxes. And what happens then is the accountant's not accountable for not paying your taxes. I'm in court with a lawyer right now